I'm Jane Haig, and we're bringing back a reprise of Sarah Westcott, who was...
By popular demand.
By popular demand.
Yep.
She was the first woman who was willing to take.
Or was asked.
Was asked.
Yep.
All
and
right.
asked again. Yeah. We're happy to do it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Sarah's
all my tens of thousands of fans out there doing it.
Sarah's been one of the primary leaders of the Thursday morning Bible study for Bible women, and for that
It's a group effort.
It's a group effort.
It is.
I know.
It's a wonderful group. Very lucky to have that to look forward to every week.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's worked for you, and it certainly has worked for me. This morning we are talking about the unnamed woman, the Shunammite woman, and the servant girl without a name.
Right. No one has a name.
No, yeah, all right. Sarah's doing the no-name ones. So, the unnamed woman, Elisha.
She is widowed and is having trouble keeping up with her finances, and her sons are, the creditors have come and have threatened to take her sons as slaves, as payment for all her debts that she's accumulated. And obviously her sons, I assume they're sons, said just children, are really all she has left. And she is, very comfortable in asking for help of her neighbors and of Elisha, the prophet, and a little miracle is performed. Mm-hmm. And she goes around to her community asking for jars to pour this oil in, and she's able to have enough, do this miracle, and save her debts and her children.
Yeah.
I liked this story. I thought these are two very different stories. One about a rich woman and one about a poor woman. And this one, not being afraid to ask for help, not being too proud. Using the resources of the community around her, and it seems like if she was able to collect all these jars, that she was able to find the support she needed to keep her family together. It was touching. No one wants to give their children into slavery.
No, especially when your husband has died or your primary.
Right. There would be nothing left for her.
Right.
She'd be begging or something.
I think what would be worse is losing your children, but
yeah,
that would be. It shows you how difficult it was for widows back then, and not being able to support yourself, let alone go out and get a paying job.
Right, right. Their options were very limited, and they were totally dependent on their husbands.
Yeah.
No insurance. If their husband died young, they were in trouble for sure.
Yeah. So then the next woman, who is wealthier, again we're talking about Elisha in 2 Kings, that the next woman was given a son as foretold by Elisha.
Right. Well, first she opens up her home to Elisha. She has the means to make him a little room with a bed and a chair and I kind of forget what else, and she clearly knew that Elisha was a holy man, and she never asked for anything. He just, I think, wanted to repay her. As I was reading this at 5:30 this morning. He just wanted to repay her, and as she had pretty much everything she needed to live, she never had any sons. She didn't ask for it, and Elisha granted her a son. And basically she says, sure, you can do that, but don't play around. It's this or nothing.
Yeah.
And
then she gets pregnant and has a baby boy.
She has the boy. He, comes home with a headache and dies.
The young
I
man
guess.
does.
Yes. And she calls for Elisha.
Elisha.
And he is able to bring this boy back to life.
Yeah. She boldly said, don't give me a son unless I can keep my son alive. And
right. I think it was odd that she was just given a son without asking for it. The Bible never says that, she wasn't unhappy because
Yeah.
she wasn't able to have children. I mean, she had everything, materialistic that she could want. But she was granted a son anyway.
Yeah.
And she was, bold enough to go, again, ask for help to save him. She didn't want to accept that he was going to die. She went and demanded that Elisha come and save him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third woman is a servant girl who lives in the household of Naaman the general. She was actually, in essence, a prisoner of war who had Naaman and his army had captured her, and she had come to work in his household. He had leprosy and was a good man, according to what the Bible says. And so the servant girl says to her mistress, there is a prophet in my country that could cure Naaman of the leprosy. And finally Naaman goes off to visit Elisha, and with his generals and all his soldiers and everything else, and Elisha doesn't come out of his house. He just sends a message to Naaman the general saying, go wash in the water 7 times and you will be cured. And Naaman is too proud to not have to do something like that without seeing Elisha in person. Finally, Naaman's colleagues and friends convince him to go wash in the water, and he is cured. So it's sort of that story is basically.
There are lots of miracles in this book.
Elisha and Elijah do tend to kind of do more miracles.
Yeah.
You're right. It was the era of the prophets who were sent by God to kind of
But were they kings?
The prophets? No.
Because we're in the Book of Kings. Now, I have to admit, I have not read the earlier chapters.
No, the prophets circled around the kings.
Okay.
So the kings are Saul, David, and then beyond that we get the lesser kings, if you will, those that are from the kingdom of Israel and Judah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Elisha and Elijah kind of are rabble-rousers and trying to remind the kings and the people that God is still present and to be faithful. And so that's one of the reasons why there's so many miracles.
Right.
Is kind of God trying to say to the people, remember me.
Right.
But thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you. It's been a very fun experience doing this every week.
Good.
I really enjoyed it, and I've been looking forward to it. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, great idea.
Thank you.